Straight ahead on 12 News, prime picking. We'll have the juicy details on this year's apple season. Plus, a difficult weekend for fires. We'll have the latest on 2 fires that kept local firefighters busy for hours. But first,
by drawing attention to one marginalized group, it's really important to send the message that we include all.
Anoka-Hennepin schools are set to review new anti-bullying recommendations. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. A school district that has had to battle bullying issues in the past is now set to review recommendations to combat the problem.
Anoka-Hennepin schools had a special anti-bullying task force address the issue, and as Sonia Goins reports, some of the suggestions raising eyebrows.
Go ahead and set them in.
Chelsea Johnson and her daughter Michaela are doing some shopping before school starts.
Good job. Thank you.
Michaela will attend Jackson Middle School in the fall.
She's very excited, so yeah, she's ready to start.
But that excitement is blurred by bullying that sometimes occurs at school.
People shouldn't do it because it hurts other people's feelings.
Michaela has witnessed bullying in the classroom, and she took action.
They were pushing him and other people wouldn't step up and help him. So I went in there and I said, stop bullying because that hurts him, and how would you like it if you got bullied?
Both mom and daughter say they are glad the district is considering ways to combat bullying.
You know, there's bullying that goes on every day and you don't hear about it.
A task force has come up with several recommendations, including creating awareness about different family dynamics.
You know, family is a family. You know, if it's 2 men, 2 women, 1 man, 1 woman, a family is a family. So as long as kids are in a loving home.
Now, if recommendation number 2 gets passed, there will be more adults in the hallways at middle schools. The whole idea is to increase safety and cut down on bad behavior.
This is an age group where there is more name calling. There is more, more rambunctious behavior in the hallways.
Recommendation number 3 is causing concern for a few people. It calls for recognizing diverse communities, including LGBT. The district also wants to create public displays honoring LGBT History Month.
Some critics would say that then that might disclude or exclude another group of people. And I simply don't feel like that's true.
School officials say they hope the guidelines will create a safe place for everyone. Michaela hopes it works too.
It'd be so much easier in the world if bullying would all just go away and everybody would be nice to each other.
Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Another recommendation includes increasing communication about its anti-bullying plan. The school board is expected to discuss the report on August 25th. Officials believe an electrical problem led to a 2-alarm house fire in Brooklyn Park over the weekend. Crews responded to this home in the 2900 block of 80th Circle Sunday evening. The fire started in the basement and eventually spread to the roof, causing extensive damage. No one was home at the time and there were no injuries. Firefighters from 6 departments worked to control that blaze.
Meantime, a propane stove left unattended caused a fire that destroyed a home in Brooklyn Center. Firefighters responded to the 3800 block of 56th Avenue North on Saturday morning. Crews found the flames had already spread to the neighboring house. Fire Chief Lee Gatlin says the family was cooking dinner in the garage and left the stove unattended. 12 people in the home were able to escape the fire without injury, but the home is a complete loss.
Tuesday is primary election day in the Northwest Metro. There are primaries to narrow down the list of candidates for Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, and Crystal City Councils. Among the races with multiple candidates is the Brooklyn Park race for mayor. Each of the candidates recently gave their views on light rail, which is a hot topic in Brooklyn Park.
I think it isn't the time now for light rail. These projects should be set aside, and because it's very expensive to build and expensive to operate.
I fully support it. I believe that it's the right direction for our city to take, but I also recognize it is a very controversial challenge for our community. And in order to move forward in a way that's progressive, we have to stay at the table. We can't table decisions for a year until we run our election campaigns.
I too support the light rail, but I only support the light rail when it comes down, rerouted down 81. I'm not for displacing any homeowners on West Broadway whatsoever.
Incumbent Mayor Jeff Lundy did not participate in the forum held last week. The light rail project as it stands would remove about a dozen homes along West Broadway. A vote to move ahead with the project was tabled in June. Mayor Lundy supported tabling the project. And a reminder that polls open Tuesday at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. 12 News will have live results as soon as the polls close. To find your polling place, we have information at 12.tv. And an important reminder, voters in a primary election can only vote for candidates from one political party. So if you vote for a candidate in the Republican governor's race and the DFL auditor's race, your ballot will get tossed out.
Metro Transit bus shelters are designed to make people's waits a little more comfortable. Now, organizations in Brooklyn Center have stepped forward and committed to adopting all 14 shelters in the city to help keep them clean and free from damage.
And that's unique in our coverage area and significant because it means that this is a community that is invested in transit, invested in shelters, and invested in those people who use those shelters.
Community members, Metro Transit officials, business leaders, and the group Mad Dads gathered at the Brooklyn Center Transit Center to honor and thank the organizations who adopted the city's 14 bus shelters. People who adopt shelters commit to helping Metro Transit keep them safe and clean. Brooklyn Center resident Diane Sanis spearheaded the effort.
In 2007, I noticed that there were 7 different shelters, and I heard about the Adopt a Shelter program like Adopt a Highway. So I said, well, wouldn't it be a great point of pride if Brooklyn Center businesses adopted all 7 of those shelters? That was in 2007, and now it's 2014, and we have 14.
Many of the attendees hopped on the bus to get in on today's celebration. For more information on how you could adopt a bus shelter, you can go to our website, and a reminder, that's 12.tv. Coming up, a good season for one Minnesota apple, not so good for another. We'll explain next in Business Matters.
Then later in sports, a new head coach leads Park Center into the football season.
But first, sunny, comfortable weather continues on Tuesday.
Struggles at bricks and mortar stores in the office supply industry is leading to at least one store closure in the Northwest Metro. Employees at the Maple Grove Office Depot indicated their store is closing in November. Office Depot is located between Best Buy and Nordstrom Rack in the Arbor Lake shopping area. Maple Grove also has an Office Max. Office Depot merged with Office Max last year. Call it a mixed bag when it comes to this year's apple season.
It is opening week for a local orchard that draws thousands of customers from the northwest suburbs. In this week's Business Matters, we head to Applejack Orchards for an up-close look at a sweet business that must weather through whatever Mother Nature deals.
This is it. We're ready for the season, the first day of our apple season for 2014.
At Applejack Orchards and Farm in Delano, opening week comes with a mix of excitement and anticipation.
We want people to come out here and have a fun time. It's called Agritainment. This is a farm where you come for fun.
The first apples of the season, the Vista Belle variety, are ready.
About beginning to mid of August is when the first ones come in.
It's a steady ramp up to Labor Day when the 29 varieties of apples grown here start to peak and the crowds multiply, if the weather is right.
These are really nice apples this year. We've had no hail events. Insect damage has been minimal.
Mike Dekarsky and his wife Kit planted the first trees in this orchard 31 years ago. He's managed to weather the ups and downs of a livelihood that's weather dependent.
The apples we have are in good shape, but it's not a large crop. Last year, we had a bumper crop of everything.
Every year is different. Minnesota varieties, including Zestar and Sweet Tangos, will soon be ripe for the picking. But the orchard's most popular variety, Honey Crisp, won't be as plentiful this year due to the bitterly cold winter that started in December.
Last year we had maybe a half a bushel of apples. This year, Honey Crisp, we've got 2 apples on this tree.
Seeing brown leaves and winter kill still breaks Mike's heart, even though it's part of the business.
Terrible, yes, it's just terrible because, you know, we have to pull these out. We're going to replant next year.
New trees will take 5 to 7 years to produce fruit, but this business still expects to sell hundreds of thousands of apples this year. And with a restaurant, bakery, gift shop, and farm, there's plenty of other activities that help sustain the business, no matter what kind of weather is around the corner.
Fortunately for us, we have kind of a large indoor space, so if people had planned to do their weekend at the apple orchard on a day that's kind of drizzly, a lot of them come.
The apple season lasts until early November. The season's peak is usually between September 15th and Halloween. And if you like those Honey Crisps, they will have them. It's just that they might not have as many as they've had in the past.
And they have other varieties,
and they have
too.
plenty others. Zestar, lots of them this year,
All right.
he said. So, coming up, how a playground deemed too old here will bring joy to others far, far away.
But first in sports, action from a basketball showcase that featured a number of top players from the Twin Cities. John Jacobson is in next. One of those seasons that never ends. Football season is back, and they've been practicing. Everybody's at it now.
Yeah, everybody's at it today. A lot of teams going back today, and yeah, fall sports just around the corner here. Well, many football teams did start practice today. Some, those with 0-week games, got started last week. A new coach is leading Park Center this fall. Former assistant Paul Strong is the Pirates' new coach this fall. He takes over for Ricky Foggy. And like Foggy, Strong played for the University of Minnesota in the 1980s. He likes the attitude he's seeing.
They're excited. Our motto is we're the underdog. You know, nobody gives us a chance to win games. They just think we're going to just compete and be content to just give you 2 good halves of football, but we're going to change that.
The Pirates are into their second week of practice in preparation for their August 22nd opener at Richfield. We'll have a full preview of the Pirates later this week as part of our series of training camp reports on the local football teams here on 12 Sports. Our first report airs Wednesday afternoon, and we'll start with a handful of local teams that have 0-week games. There's a thriving summer basketball scene around the Twin Cities. Some great players here were in the St. Paul for the Under the Radar showcase on Friday night. Action from the class of 2017, that's upcoming sophomores. Brad Davis in the Maple Grove taking the pass, going in for the layup as his Team Elite tries to build on a lead. After trailing big at the half, Team Hype storms back. Isaac Johnson in Minneapolis North with a 3. Marmar Hughes penetrates into the lane. He'll score 2 inside, and he plays a strong second half for his team. Jericho Sims of Cristo Rey Jesuit knocks down a tough jumper over the defender, and Team Elite has a seemingly safe 41-24 lead. But it's mostly Team Hype from there. Jordan Horn of Tartan High School makes it 41-37. But Theo John from Champlin Park hits clutch free throws as Team Elite holds on for a 49-48 win. We talked to a couple of local guys about this event.
It was fun, got me away from the weekend. I had a lot of fun playing with a lot of my friends. Got close to a lot of them, get to know them a little more. Yeah, it's fun.
I was really looking forward to it, and it was a good experience to get out and play with some of the top guys in your grade level, compete against each other.
Now that game was followed up by a game of upcoming juniors. Off the missed 3 in transition, Demario Armstrong of Maranatha there for the putback, and his Team Hype leads it 20-10. An Apple Valley connection here for Team Elite. 6'11" Brock Bertram takes the pass and scores 2 inside. Pass is tipped here, but eventually gets out to Austin Slater of Wayzata. He knocks down a long jumper, his team trailing by 7 at this point. Maple Grove fans have seen this play coming up. Check out the block shot by Reed Nico here for Team Hype. In transition, Jarrett Baptiste of Columbia Heights dunks on the alley-oop. His team up by 15 at halftime. Second half, Langdon Kirkwood of Brooklyn Center nails the shot. Team Hype wins 65-58 in the class of 2016 game. There were also freshman and senior games. Pretty much every successful golfer took up the game at a young age. So did many of us who aren't so good golfers. In this week's Channel 12 Golf Tip, Aaron Jacobson has some simple tips to get young golfers on their way. Aaron, for those of us who golf, that first round for many of us came as a youngster, and you've got a very active junior program out here at Rush Creek. How much fun is that for you and for your other instructors to teach this game?
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, we have about 800 or 900 kids in the program, somewhere in that area, and it's just fun to come to work and see all the kids running around out there on the putting green, driving range, getting better, working on their swings.
Now, for parents who bring their kids out on the course, but maybe aren't golf instructors themselves, are there some simple things that you can tell them and show us today that they can help their kids out with when they're out on the green, out on the course?
Absolutely, John. I tell you, if you can just get your kids' hands on the club properly, and when I say that, we talk about getting the thumbs to point down towards the club head or towards the ball when you get set up here. We know the kids' hands, they're not very big. It's hard to get them on there perfect. And you know, when they're under 8 years old, we're not too worried about the perfect grip. We're just trying to get the thumbs at the ball, and then if we can get the kids to go step with their feet and get the feet, you know, underneath the shoulders, good balance position, and then if we can get the kids to swing back and follow through, what we talk about here is having the people behind them see the gum on the bottom of their shoes or see the spikes. And then we know they're in a good balanced position with their belt buckles out towards the target. So I've got my son, Brady, who's here. He's gonna help us hit a shot. And Brady, if you could just go through and get set up with your feet together, thumbs towards the golf ball, and then go step for us, and then do your backswing and follow through. Great golf shot, bud. Give me 5. All right. If you can just follow those simple tips as a parent, that will really help your son or daughter get going in the right direction at the driving range.
Thanks, Aaron. Now, you didn't see it there, but I saw Brady's shot. It was about 100 yards right down the middle. Nice form for a 5-year-old.
good
If we could do as well as a 5-year-old,
Yeah,
we'd be
that's right.
Thanks, John. Still ahead, a playground overhaul that has pride and purpose for kids overseas.
We'll be right back. A New Hope Park will soon receive a major overhaul. Little Acre Park will have its playground equipment replaced, and a lot of other improvements will be done at the park as well. The projected cost is $177,000. The New Hope City Council could approve a contractor for the project at its meeting tonight. And finally, a group of volunteers, playground volunteers, is taking recycling to a whole new level.
And they gathered in the rain this morning at Plymouth Creek Park to take apart the playground there. It's more than a decade old and it was going to be replaced. A nonprofit called Kids Around the World offered to take it and rebuild it in a needy community overseas.
The junk of Plymouth, basically, because they're going to throw it away, is going to become a treasure for some kid who's never seen a playground.
The playground is so large that it will be divided and shared with 2 communities in Africa. Paul says that even though the children don't know what the structure is at first, it doesn't take them long to figure out what to do with it. He says playing on a playground is simply in every kid's DNA. I believe that.
It is universal, I'll bet.
That's all the news for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner is up next, and see you tomorrow.